Sur le feu. Bad. Fire. Sur le feu. Bad. Bad. Ils vont l'hilar. Tirez les gars. Les gars viennent nous mettre le drapeau. Ils sont malades dans la tête.
Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. Early this morning, or yesterday evening, Ambazonian time, around 7:30 p.m., the Ambazonian people were shocked with another event of rampant, indiscriminate killings in the city of Bamenda in Ambazonia. The conflict is spiraling out of control. There is no leadership in Cameroon. The various centers of powers within the Cameroon state that are responsible for the defense and the occupation security forces in Ambazonia are fighting among themselves. There is no one to provide leadership, discipline, and accountability to the 5,000 forces, Cameroon occupation and security forces deployed in the Ambazonia territory. Mr. Biya has no will, has lost leadership, not only within his own government, has no control over the military. Their prime minister has no control over the military. The Cameroon occupation military is frustrated and confused. The consistent and systematic killings of Ambazonians, the consistent and systematic massacre of Ambazonians, it's a proof that Mr. Biya has no control over the military he deployed in the Ambazonia territory. That the various ministries and the top Cameroon officials that are responsible for the military and their security forces in the occupied territory of Ambazonia have no control over that military. Over the last 7 years, there have been systematic, persistent massacres across Ambazonia. The burnings of villages, of people's private properties, the looting, the raping, the extrajudicial killing by the Cameroon security forces. Tens of thousands of Ambazonians have been butchered, slaughtered, and killed. More than 1,000 villages burned. In a conflict where millions have pushed to the wall, where millions on a daily basis are looking for some form of justice, they are looking for accountability. The victims, Ambazonian victims of Mr. Biya's war, have been seeking for justice, crying out for justice, calling and waiting for the international community to do something, hoping that one day somebody somewhere will do something and call Mr. Biya to order and hold Mr. Biya accountable and hold the Cameroon military and their security forces accountable for these killings, for these massacres, for these extrajudicial killings. Ambazonians have been hoping, waiting, begging, wailing. Ambazonians have also become frustrated. They don't know where to go and who to turn to find a sense of comfort, accountability, justice, and answers. It's been 7 years. For how long can a people carry such pain and trauma without the world giving them the basic justice that they need? What do you think is going through these millions of people on a daily basis? How would people that have their homes, they work hard for it, struggle for it, they build their homes, and they wake up one day, because of their ethnicity, because of who they are, because of their nationality, a foreign occupation military decide to burn those communities and render these people homeless and hopeless. What do you think is running through their minds? Of the thousands of Ambazonians that have been killed. We have not seen anyone showing any sympathy or showing any interest to call for accountability and to provide justice to these people. Listen to this audio about what happened in Bamenda. Listen to this. Listen to this audio.
People, as I dey for the scene now, according to wetin to my IDC, it shows in some motor. We don't come for here with two motor them we carry on identified gunmen them inside. They come out in their number. According to the people where we don't gather them for here, they talk say it is so they come out to shoot for us. Talk say all man around here in a black leg, make all man sleep down. So as people they struggle for sleep down, other one that they want struggle for run, they open fire and start shoot indiscriminately. According to way at the CM for here, 9 people them already they don't speak straight and they will be 10 in number, but they don't touch one girl. They see and say small life is still good for his skin. So they struggle now for carry go with her for hospital to see whether they feel rescue alive. Okada Monday with the woman will be the say a petrol. Those are where they will pass to na pass where the common house will come by. Other people that where they will just be around junction, bullet it catch them for this situation. So for now, any man they can look see one family member. Okada boys them where they will stand around here, the wait passengers, bullet take some on them, take some business people and other people that way be the dream. So for now, it be too quick for we for talk. No man don't know whether these unidentified gunmen them now who them and inside they come out and why they decide to come from. So now a breaking event we will still dig them, we go to Takara for as the Palava it go. The image can be very shocking. For now we not go send out a group, but very soon we will struggle for see if we will send someone them.
The Ambazonia Governing Council has conducted preliminary investigations. What we know, and I think this is very revealing, is that the 10 people that were killed last night in Bamenda, in Nancho Junction, are all citizens of Cameroon. What we now know, based on our initial investigations, is that the 10 people that were killed are all citizens from La République du Cameroon. I think that is very interesting, and it's also a pointer to where this conflict is heading to. And I think it's also, it's not only very interesting, but it reveals something that people should take very seriously. Don't you find that very interesting? That all 10 are citizens of Cameroon? That's something we all should pay attention to. Why is that? This is the first time in this conflict when a Cameroon citizen or Cameroon citizens have also become victims of Mr. Biya's war in Ambazonia. This is the first time in this since the conflict began in 2016, that citizens of La République du Cameroon have also become victims of Mr. Biya's war in Ambazonia. There are many questions we should be asking ourselves. And many questions we should be asking ourselves. What we know and the warning signs that we have provided to the international community. We have predicted this and warned the international community. It's going to get to this point until they step in and do something immediately. And we think this is just the beginning. What we know is that this is just the beginning of the turn of events. We've seen across the globe how events like this have turned a conflict that could have been resolved to a conflict that the world will forever regret, while it never acted in the first place to provide the solutions that are needed, a negotiated settlement that is needed, the justice and accountability that is needed. We've seen across the globe. We saw it in Rwanda. It started by a single event like this. We have warned the international community that the victims of this conflict, because of the failure of the international community to act, the tens and thousands of Ambazonians that are victims of Mr. Biya's war will someday take matters into their own hands to seek for retributive justice. We think based on the warning signs on the ground, the failure of the international community to hold Mr. Biya accountable has led and is leading victims of this war to find all means to seek for revenge as a form of justice. Everyone deserves justice. The fact that Mr. Biya, who declared this war on the Ambazonian people, is unwilling to follow through with international commitments, to seek for a political, negotiated settlement of this conflict. The consistent and systematic butchering, massacring of the Ambazonian people has changed the trajectory of this conflict. The war will never be the same again. The signs are very dangerous. The signs are very dangerous. And I think what happened in Bamenda last night should be a warning. Should act as a warning to those that want to learn, to those that are seeking for a political solution. This should be a wake-up call. Act before it's too late. Act before it's too late. It's the nature of a human being that when they cannot seek justice, they will exact justice to those who they think are part of the crimes that have been committed on them. We've seen it across the globe. We heard the colonial delegate, the colonial governor, Mr. Lele Lafrique, is making some ridiculous statements. What we all need to know is that Lele Lafrique, just like Paul Biya, they have no control over the Ambazonia territory. Lele Lafrique has zero control. He cannot even control the military under his command. He has no control. Cameroon has no control over Ambazonia, and therefore cannot be depended upon by the international community to protect the civilian population. Cameroon has no control. So why would the world expect Cameroon to provide security and protection to the civilians when Cameroon cannot guarantee the protection and security of its own citizens in Cameroon? If Cameroon cannot provide security and the protection of its own citizens in Cameroon, how can they guarantee the protection of civilians in an occupied territory? They have lost the war. They've lost control of Ambazonia. Now that territory, as we have said, there is a security vacuum that has been created. The world must step up before it's too late. The world must step up before Rwanda 2.0 happens in front of all of us. What will the Canadian government say when a Rwanda type of genocide in that magnitude occurs between Cameroon and Ambazonia? What will Mr. Trudeau and their ministers of their Ministry of Global Affairs, what would they say? Their lack of leadership in the Cameroon Ambazonia Canada talks is part of what is responsible for the ongoing killings. They also have to share this blame. They are also responsible. So they have to speak up as their newspaper have called upon them. That the Prime Minister of Canada, our Prime Minister, Mr. Trudeau, has to show public leadership about the negotiation between Ambazonia and Cameroon, that his country, our country, Canada, has opted to facilitate. He's been quiet. He's never made a statement. Everything is left in the hands of global affairs. There need to be a public leadership to rally the world and build momentum on that process so that the world can stop the senseless killings. That's one. Two, the liberation tax that the Hague of Sea has worked on and educated the population and launched for the collective survival of the Ambazonian people is our ticket to reclaim our sovereignty. The liberation tax, the quicker, the faster we embrace the tax, the liberation tax, and pay our dues for our homeland. The liberation tax is Ambazonian ticket to speed up the process of our freedom. We don't need these things to be happening in our territory. These things should be happening in Cameroon, not inside Ambazonia. So, while people are in pain and people want justice and accountability, the more that justice and accountability is delayed, the more things will escalate. Okay. The more things will escalate. The more things will escalate. So we are calling on all Ambazonians. Step up your efforts. Pay your liberation tax as soon as possible. That is why we have a concise plan about how to bundle Cameroon out of our land. As the leader has pointed out, just in the city of Bamenda alone, the Ambazonia Governing Council has the capability to raise 1 billion just in Bamenda alone. The Ambazonia Governing Council has the capability to raise 1 billion CFA. That will be the end of Cameroon occupation. Think about what we as a people can be able to do. How many more forces we can recruit, train, armed, and deploy to provide the protection, defense, and security for our people. 2, how fast can we bundle La République du Cameroon out? If we increase our defense capabilities by 500 more special forces, that will be the end of Cameroon. Think about how many community clinics, community health clinics we can build. How many community kindergarten or nursery school, primary school, high school, vocational training institutions, or professional training institutions we can build. Think about how many new markets we can build for our people. The potential is enormous. The purpose is overwhelmingly excellent. The objectives and the outcomes that will directly change the lives of the Ambazonian people and put an end to their suffering. We can do this. We don't have to wait for the international community. Waiting for the international community costs lives, add more pain to people that have suffered for far too long. We can do it. We have to show a sense of seriousness. The best way we can hold Cameroon accountable, the freedom of Ambazonia is the best way to hold Cameroon accountable. The independence of Ambazonia is the best way to hold Cameroon accountable. Securing the sovereignty of Ambazonia is the best way to hold Mr. Biya and his clique accountable. We can do it. Don't wait for the international community. It will be too late. Your 10,000 is your ticket to your freedom. Okay? We have to reduce the pain on our people and increase the possibility, increase our options. Give power back to the Ambazonian people. That's what our people are yearning for. We don't need all these confused, frustrated drunkards in the name of Cameroon military in our territory. Let's bundle them out. Okay? Let's dissolve the evil in our land. Let's send them back to their country. Let them go there and deal with each other, fight each other, eat each other up. Let it happen in Cameroon. We've had enough in our territory. Let's put an end to Cameroon's pain on our people, to their terrorism on our people, to their terror activities on our people, okay, to their extortion on our people. Let's put an end to it. Okay. So, while you should be very careful, be also very optimistic. We as a people, we've gone through so much. But there is one thing we in the Ambazonia Governing Council believe about who we are. We are very resilient. We are very resilient. I know that the option of war is not something Even I want.